Hey punks, Chaotic here.
And we got Figured here in the producer chair.
Welcome to Beyond the Pit, the show where we talk about music, life, and mental health issues directly with artists, experts, and survivors. Joining us for today's edition of Beyond the Pit, we got Jeff Ogle from Lockjaw. Figured, give him the rundown.
Hey punks, just a reminder, you can find all this and all of our Beyond the Pit interviews on the official RockMental YouTube channel. Also, you can find them on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Amazon Music. Also, be sure to follow at RockMental Official on pretty much all of the social media platforms to get notified when the latest Beyond the Pit episode drops. Chaotic?
All right, let's get to it. Lockjaw is a metal band based in the Dallas-Fort Worth area and have been jamming together for over 20 years. They have an awesome sound and have opened up for huge bands like Disturbed and Drowning Pool. They have a powerful and aggressive sound just like you want from a metal band, but it's their lyrics that really capture a lot of the mental health challenges that many of us face. It's raw, it's heavy, it kicks you in the ass, and it leaves you wanting more. So I'm so stoked to welcome Jeff Ogle to Beyond the Pit. Hey Jeff, thanks so much for joining us, man.
Oh, hell yeah. Thank you for having me.
Well, first off, we are huge fans of Lockjaw. We featured them. You were one of the first bands we featured on RockMental. We've been jamming ever since. Living Inside My Head and I Can't Escape, those are my top two. Like, they're on my playlist, driving around. I think I scared someone on the street because, like, when the breakdown came in and I Can't Escape, I shook, like, the whole car. That just brings it in. But, first off, so stoked to talk to you.
Thank you.
And for joining us on Beyond the Pit. We are so lucky, but really just honored to just say, hey, we're fans.
Same here. I'm glad to be here. So thank you for having me. It's awesome.
Awesome. Cool. So you as a band, Lockjaw's been jamming out for quite a while, right? Like, you guys been together making music and doing things for a long time. Like, tell us about some, like, those early days. Like, how'd you guys form? How'd you guys get together? And then, like, what's the evolution been like, kind of going through those years?
Well, so I went to high school. I met this guy in 7th grade. His name was Jason Morris. He was my best friend. He's still my best friend. We met in art class. We both were like art. We drew and stuff. So we met, and it really started like what would become Lockjaw and what it is really started in 7th grade art class. I met this guy. I played baseball with his brother. I kind of knew him. I kind of didn't, but he always wore a black t-shirt. He kind of had long hair. Granted, this is right when Nirvana, Pearl Jam, the Seattle scene hit. Metal was kind of going away.
Yeah.
So there were like few of us that really loved this was about 91. The Black Album had just come out. Countdown to Extinction was a big one.
Yeah.
A lot of those bands the big metal bands were happening, but the grunge scene was also happening. And I was kind of into both of it. I liked it, but I really always gravitated more towards the Metallica, Megadeth, big guitar, stuff. And so Jason and I were drawing, and he's back there. The funny thing is we're tasked to draw like a piece of furniture, and he's drawing a piece of furniture with a dead body under it and blood coming under it, and so like a bag of cocaine on the, and I'm like, who the fuck is this guy? I was hilarious. And then we had to, I don't know if you ever drew on those 2-point perspective where you had to draw like 2 streets and like a city or something.
Oh yeah.
He drew like a cityscape, and in the background there's like a nuke going off, and then there's a bunch of monsters over here, like one-eyed demons coming out of a cave, and this Jason Voorhees is killing this guy we used to have in Burleson. And I grew up in Burleson, Texas, and it had like this convenience store, Circle J's, and like he had like this Jason Voorhees like stabbing this guy. Like, it was all this chaos going on, and I was like, this is a fucking cool dude. Like, I was like, So we started talking about music and horror movies. Like, back then it was like, Faces of Death had just come out. I'm 6, so that was kind of a thing. Hellraiser and Freddy and Chucky and all those classics. And we just like clicked over that stuff.
Yeah.
And so through high school, we kind of clicked on that, and probably right about 7th or 8th grade, we both started playing the guitar. He got a guitar, and I got a guitar. And so we just started playing those heavy, crunchy riffs, those chug, 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 chugs. And that was something that we really liked. Fast forward a little bit into around 97, I graduated. I saw Metallica film Cunning Stunts in Fort Worth. both days, and I was in the video actually in Cunning Stunts.
Oh dang.
And yeah, I'll show you a clip sometime. And I said, "This is what I want to do." I said right then, I was like, "This is what I want to do." And Jason was with me, and I said, "I want to do that." And he goes, "All right, let's do it." So we graduated. '98 comes, and I said we started the band. We started jamming with our friends. We found a drummer that we went to high school with. We found another friend, and we just kind of started making the first uh, slime or whatever, if you will, the primordial ooze of Lockjaw, whatever that was going to be.
Yeah.
We went through some drummers and some bass players. We went through a little bit of a rotating chair for the first year or so. But around 99, 2000, we were like, okay, we've got it locked in. We've got a band. And everybody asks, and I'll go ahead and volunteer the name. So we were big fans of like horror movies. So it was around Halloween. We're like, let's go get drunk and go to some like horror, like haunted houses in Dallas. So we go to Scream's Haunted Park, and then we're like, hey, man, it's Sunday night. It's the local show. So we had a guy in Dallas called Chaz Knight, the local show on 97.1 The Eagle. And they always had badass up-and-coming bands. We were up-and-coming, and we wanted to kind of be in that community, in that scene. So we're driving from Waxahachie over to Dallas to downtown, and we're driving right through Dealey Plaza where Kennedy was assassinated.
Yeah.
And we're driving right there. I mean, like, Kennedy's assassination is over here, and we're driving. And he goes, man, what are we going to call this fucking band? And we start joking around like we're just kind of buzzed,
Yeah.
driving like dumbasses. But we're kind of buzzed. And we're like, man, I'm going to go down here and get all the lovely ladies of the night in Deep Ellum, all those girls, the Deep Ellum girls. And I said, he goes, man, be careful. You're going to walk away with like a venereal, like Clubfoot or Lockjaw or AIDS or whatever, and he's like naming off all these ridiculous names for some horrible venereal disease that you could get. And I was like, Lockjaw, that's a good name.
That's a good name.
So we're driving through downtown Dallas crying loud, like ugly laughing because we're dying at all the ridiculous shit we're saying. We go to Deep Ellum. There was not one fucking chick in there at all. We didn't pull anything that night. But there were some cool bands playing. We had a good time. And ironically, Chaz is back. And he's no longer with the Eagle, but he's back on 128 dB radio here, and I'm going to do an interview with him next week. And he probably doesn't even know this story that he's loosely connected to the name Lockjaw.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah, and it started just a little more, but it started as we just wanted to jam. We didn't know what we were doing. We were really rough. We just got in the garage and liked to record it, and just come up with ideas. We didn't really have a recording studio. We didn't really have access to anything. So we were just recording ourselves on a little 4-track and just doing the best we could. And then finally, about a year into it, we recorded kind of a shitty demo on our 4-track and took that to a guy here locally in Dallas. And he's been responsible for a lot of really good bands in Dallas coming out. He's a local guy. And Alex Gers, good dude. We did our first Green CD with him. That's the one in 2001. That's not even up. Whenever we really decided to start taking it seriously in around 2018, I took all that down off social. So nobody has that.
Oh, wow.
Everything that you hear up right now is from Chris Collier going forward. I was like, if we're really going to do this, I'm going to put money into this. I need to be taken seriously. I don't want it to be like, oh, they got 1 or 2 good songs, or they got 1 good album, but this is dog shit. I don't want to, so that's kind of the history of it. So it's been 25, 26 years.
Nice.
I'm 46. So it's since I was 18, 19, 20, somewhere around there.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
and that's kind of how, a lot of these great bands start off, in a garage, sucking, just doing it together. I was in a few garage bands myself. It was like I showed up and it was more like, all right, what do you need? You need a bass, you need a drum, you need a backup guitar. What do you need? Oh, I need a bass for this gig. Okay, I'll play bass, and just
cool.
give me the cool chords, and that's cool. I was like that fill-in guy, like at every high school,
Awesome.
So definitely know how that goes, man. But I mean,
love it.
You guys gave an interview a few years ago, I think, in Dead Rhetoric, and you kind of talked about like some of the evolution, how you met up with Joe Ortiz. Like, talk about that.
Oh yeah, that's great. Wow, you guys are really doing your homework.
Yep.
So Joe Joe was in a really cool band that actually went further than Lockjaw in the early days. We had a really good brand locally. We had a good following. We were playing with bands like Element 80 and different bands. This band was called Jackknife. And I would say they were probably on the very front end of what we call metalcore now.
Yeah.
The Bullet for My Valentine, Trivium, hardcore meets thrash metal,
Yep.
metalcore. They were on the front end of that, and Joe was a hell of a screamer. And so they actually signed to Paul Bassman, who had Drowning Pool and Damage Plan. And then and they were actually getting ready to go out with Damage Plan. And then when Dime passed, that Paul just threw his hands up and was like, "That's it, done." And that was that. And it just kind of, after that, it was kind of like a broken heart, and they just kind of fizzled, and that was Jackknife. But they had a really good reputation. They toured their ass off. Joe has a lot of energy. He's a great guy. So I followed him always on socials, and I was seeing him do all this like different kinds of exercise, like body movement exercises, swinging a hammer and walking on his hands and doing all this like agility stuff and body movement stuff. And I was like, man, I'm really inflexible. I'd love to reach out, see if I could get you to help me put me on a program. Cause I've always lifted weights and I've always been like a big guy, but that makes you immobile, you know?
Yeah.
So I reached out to him a couple times and he was like, yeah, man, I'll help you out. And he, you know, secretly he told me, he goes, I never really cared for Lockjaw.
Wow.
I was like, oh, okay. So randomly, Machine Head, one of my favorite bands.
Oh, yeah.
I
Freaking
love
awesome.
Machine Head.
They might be my number 5.
They're up there in the top 5 for me for sure.
Oh.
So Machine Head came through Dallas in 2019, and I did the meet and greet because it was like $250 or $300, and I was like, I love Rob Flynn. I want to meet the whole band. They're fucking rad. Phil was already out. Phil Dimmel was already out. Yeah. Anyway, so I did the meet and greet, and Joe was there, but he wasn't at the meet and greet. I saw him. We did the meet and greet, and then after the meet and greet, Joe was there. And I was like, what's up, dude? I was like, how's it going? And I said, dude, I'd love for you to hear some of the new stuff I'm writing. And he goes, I've had a lot of people ask me to be in a band since Jackknife. I'm just taking care of my girls. I live alone. He's got daughters. And he goes, I'd be interested in hearing what you got, but I don't think I'm going to do it. I'm just kind of done with music, bro. And I was like, okay, well, I'm going to let you hear it. Maybe you can come by the studio and see what we're doing. We had our old singer, Corey, at the time, and Corey's a Dallas firefighter. Him and I weren't seeing eye to eye directionally, and there was some other things. I won't talk bad about him because he's my friend. We're good friends. And I just was going in a different direction. I was like, if I'm going to take charge of this band and really run it, I'm going to put my own money into it. I'm going to invest into it. I'm going to be the record label, if you will.
Yep.
I got to have it go exactly how I know it'll be successful. I've been pretty successful in business, so I was like, I'm going to take some of my business and roll it over here. So Joe and I meet. He comes over to the studio. I let him hear a song that I had recorded, and he was like, this is nothing like the old Lockjaw. I really like this. This is more metal, Machine Head-esque. You know, that song that I let him hear was very Machine Head driven. And he was like, man, I really like this. I'd love to try out. And I said, he goes, but if we're going to do it, if I get myself back into music, I am not fucking around. I want to go all the fucking way.
Yeah.
No joke. Pro shit. I want it to be 100% in pro shit. I was like, fucking, that's the only thing that's my whole existence. That's the only thing I do.
Yeah.
And I said, absolutely. I don't fuck around. I don't put my money into something unless it's going to be something, you know?
Exactly.
He goes, okay. All right. So he came over 6 months. He came over and then COVID happened.
Oh man.
Like right then. So I was just writing. I wrote probably 20 songs during COVID. And then I connected with Chris Collier, the dude, I was telling you, our producer from Korn. And anyway, Joe and I started, once COVID was over and he could come over, we came over here, we're recording vocals on these new ideas. Chris sent us some instrument tracks back over and they were ready for vocals. And Joe just spit out the first one, which was Silence the Fear.
Oh yeah.
And he spit that first one out. And we were like, holy shit. And he had never sang a chorus. He'd never done melodic vocals before that chorus ever.
Really? Wow.
Ever. And he pulled that off and I was like, whoa. And we were having a hard time with the harmonies to build the chorus, you know, the vocal stacking. We hit up our friend Dave Galloway from Element 80, and he gave us some pointers on like, okay, here's how you find the harmony for, because it's not something we really ever did.
Yeah.
He goes, here, do it. And then I got with Chris, our producer, and I showed him kind of where we were going. He goes, yeah, that's cool, but let me show you how to really do it. And Chris took Joe and honed him. So Chris has been instrumental in getting Joe where he needed to be to become the singer guy. And now Joe's gravitating more to melodic vocals than he loves heavy. We're always going to be heavy.
Yeah.
But he's finding his inner Corey Taylor and his inner,
yeah,
that melodic thing, and he's really enjoying it. So that's been kind of the evolution of Joe,
Yeah. No, and it sounds freaking awesome because I mean the music's heavy, you're ripping there on the guitar. It everything is just like syncing up, and like you said, like he brings in this melodic, through the verses and even through some of the choruses. It's just like, wow, it just lines up so well, so perfectly.
Yeah.
And
thank you.
Yeah, like it's.
I would like to add something too.
Yeah.
I want to add something too. Another big part of that. So Scott, our drummer, and Gabriel Ayala, our bass player, they've been originals for over 20 years.
Oh, nice.
Okay. But our guitar player, Jeremy, he had been in the band for a long time too, but he was kind of just doing his thing. And we kind of had again, difference of direction. So we ended up trying our other friend, Phil, out. We started getting like opportunities to play out of town, and Phil was pretty locked in on his career, and he wasn't able to make that leap and we love Phil. Phil's great. Phil is one of our good friends. So we got Justin, and the only reason I'm bringing up Joe and Justin together is because those are the two, I guess, new guys, but those are our two MVPs. Justin, I would say, is the MVP really because he played in a really great death metal band called Splatterfish, and they changed their name to Anathemic. His wife Andrea was the female fronted vocals, badass. Like, man, Courtney LaPlante, love Spirit Box, but hey, she's got nothing on her. It never blew it up and got with a label and blew it up.
Yeah.
Justin is a really good guitar player, but Justin's also a really good singer. He's done all kinds of melodic singing, heavy. So Justin, when we play live, when you come to El Paso, or when we come to El Paso, Justin and I and Gabe, we're all singing live. So if we break into a chorus, sometimes I'll do one line, Justin will do one line, or sometimes it's a 3-part chorus. Sometimes it's Gabe is doing the background scream. So Justin is an MVP in that he's a riff writing beast. He has a lot of tour experience. He has vocals for days. I mean, any chorus Justin's got. So that's been the big dynamic shift by bringing Justin in and Joe in to create that wall of chorus ensemble. That was never a thing for Lockjaw before them.
Yeah.
So
yeah, you could see it, like, because like a lot of times you build like the rhythm section off the, like, right, the drums and the bass, and then you got the guitars, and you build it there. But to have like a vocal section, it just brings in that much more power, more punch, man. I mean, that it's awesome.
It's the Seven Dust model.
Yeah, love Seven Dust. Hey, maybe Seven Dust is like 7 or 6 for me.
They're the best, dude. Seven Dust and Clint Lowry and all of them sing, and they're fantastic. And so we're taking Seven Dust is more like the 90s new metal or groove metal, and we're trying to take what I would call metalcore or thrash metal and bring a different melody component to that. That everybody does it their own way. Everybody has their own brand or their own flavor. We're doing. I don't know that we're like contemplating anything. We're just doing what comes out, and wherever the song takes us is where we go.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we've been throwing a lot of bands out there. Obviously, I know, reading from an interview of yours, and we just talked about it, you're a huge Metallica fan.
Yeah.
I'm a huge Metallica fan.
Yeah, I see that.
And so, like, I mean, I think that's kind of like home base for a lot of metal fans, right? Is Metallica.
Yeah.
Talk about, like, you met Metallica, you met these guys, and like just what that influence is, not just like musically, but a little bit on the business side, right?
Yeah. We briefly talked about it. So I've been to every Metallica show in the past 25 years that they've ever come to through Dallas. Every one of them. And if there were 2 days, I would go to that. I always wanted to meet them, but I never, knew how I had access to it. And I've always been a fifth member or whatever of their club. And so in 2019, I went and met them. I actually saw the Hardwired tour at Dallas Cowboys Stadium. Then I saw it, part of it at ACL. And we had, for Austin City Limits Festival, it was Metallica. And we actually had the platinum passes because we do platinum. We used to do platinum every year at ACL, but that got us in the snake pit. So we were in the snake. I got to be in the snake pit. That was
Nice.
cool. In fact, we hung out with Disturbed in the snake pit watching Metallica.
Nice.
Standing right next to him. I was like, well, this is cool. This is before we got to jam with them. It was pretty cool. Anyway, so then in January of 19, I saw him at Raleigh, and I got to the Hardwired experience, which is the meet and greet. And these are the best guys in the world. I'm telling you, the reason I've always said the dickheads in this industry are the up and coming bands or the local bands. The good guys are the big guy. Every bigger artist I've ever met are the nicest, most grateful, humble people.
Yeah.
Because I think you have to be. I think that's the weed out. I think you have to be those kind, grateful, humble people to really give back to the fans, so that the fans fall in love with them more and they just keep growing.
Yeah.
So Metallica walks in the room. There's 12 or 15 people maybe that did the Hardwired experience. Walk in the room, all four of them. Nicest guys. They spent over an hour, hour and a half. I don't even know how long it was. They spent a long time. It was like almost so long that it felt like we ran stuff out of stuff to talk about. Like each member would just kind of, so we were around the room with our whatever we brought to have signed, and each member would just make their way to you, and you just, that way nobody's mobbing each member and standing, one member's trying to talk to 8 people. So they just make their way. And fucking a while went by. We all took group pictures, and then a while went by and nobody came, and I was fucking nervous, man. I was like, holy shit. And I wish anybody but James had to come first. James Hetfield walks up to me first. He goes, hey, what's up? I'm James. I shake his hand, and I was like, oh, fuck. I was so nervous. I didn't, like, what am I going to say to this person I've wanted to meet for 20 years,
Yeah.
And we had a great conversation. I have a roofing company where I was actually roofing in Denver at the time.
Okay.
And he lives in Vail. When him and his wife were still together, he lives in Vail. And I was talking to him about being in Colorado all the time. He goes, so you're from Fort Worth, but you're working in, I was like, yeah, I have a roofing business. And I said, we're out in Vail in Aspen Valley all the time. We have friends out in Aspen. I come through Vail all the time. He goes, man, I love it out there. And I said, we actually went to a dog sledding guy in Minturn. And he goes, oh, I know that guy. And so we knew some of the same people, and we had some fun conversation. And then Lars was talking about, I had a good conversation with Lars. Lars was like, did I overhear that you're in a band? And I was like, yeah, I'm in a band called Lockjaw in Dallas. And so we're friends with the Drowning Pool guys. We're from blah, blah, blah. And we do this festival and da-da-da. And he's like, dude, that's badass. So y'all are taking it serious? I was like, yeah. And I said, we're working with this guy from Korn, Chris Collier, that did Korn's record. And he goes, oh, okay. And he goes, well, maybe, like Lockjaw and Metallica sometime. I was like, dude, I slapped him on the arm. I was like, dude, don't tease me with that shit. I probably knocked his little ass over. He's a little... He's a fucking great guy, though. Actually, to be honest, a lot of people give Lars shit over Napster and all his personalities. He's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Lars was, no offense to Kirk or Rob, I really love Rob. Rob is a sweet dude, but Lars was fucking rad to talk to because, like, for my band, I'm the business guy.
Yeah,
I'm the guy that's constantly contemplating some fucking new scheme, looking for that target audience. I'm constantly going. And Lars was that guy, and I could see it. I could see it in his fucking eyes. I was like, this is my dude.
Yeah.
Like, James is my hero because I play the guitar and, like, that's my thing.
Yeah.
Lars is fucking rad.
Dude,
so
yeah.
If gives Lars shit, I'm like, you have no idea what you're talking about, dude. I don't give a fuck. But they were great, man. We didn't really talk business or anything because it was kind of so early on and before Relentless. I wish I could talk to him now. That'd be for sure. And then, ironic, dude, we talked about this earlier a little bit, but ironically, and when the album got done, our Relentless album got done, and we were ready to put it out, we had the chance in 2023 to open for Disturbed at Dickies Arena. And I reached out to Tony Squindo. I saw his art,
Mm-hmm.
and if for those that don't know, he's Metallica's like main designer. If you see a badass Metallica shirt, Squindo probably did it.
Yep.
after there's Pusshead, there's Luke Priest, there's Squindo, but Squindo's the guy that has all the demons and skulls and all the hot rod demons that Hetfield likes. I've always seen his shit. I was like, man, this dude, he lives in Florida. I reached out to him. I was like, dude, I'm in this band, Lockjaw. We're out of Dallas. I'd love for you to check out our stuff. I'd love to maybe get some pieces from you. I'd love to hire you. I love your work. I love Metallica. And he goes, dude, I'd love to do some work for y'all. I like y'all. Y'all are great. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
So I'll show and tell a little bit, but so he did this shirt for us for Dickies Arena when we got a chance. Once this huge opportunity, Live Nation hit us up and asked us to open for Disturbed for 97.1 Freakers Ball, Dickies Arena, probably 25,000 people. We opened in front of probably 10,000 people. It was insane. Anyway, Squindo did this shirt, and this is the actual hand-drawn.
Oh, dang.
This is the hand-drawn.
That's
and then
badass.
Yeah, that's actually Dickies Arena, and that's our we call him Jaws. That's our character guy, you know. And we kind of harken back to the Maiden, you know, Eddie and then Vic and all the old school metal. That's what we love. So anyway, Squindo drew this for me, and my wife actually got him to make me a Christmas card and send me the original. That's the original hand drawn. So,
that's awesome.
Yeah, he's a good dude. So anyway, yeah, Metallica, great. The whole being able to be 1 degree of separation away from Metallica through Squindo is, I would never ask, but it's super cool to know.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
man, hell of a story, man. That's so cool. And that's like quintessential, like metal, right? You know, someone who knows someone. I know someone who gigged with someone. And it's like, that's just how it works.
Yeah. I'll tell you something, even just another talking about degrees of separation. So my producer is Chris Collier, and he's well known for Korn, Nonpoint, Mick Mars, Vended, Corey Taylor's Kids Band. I like them a lot. He's done a lot of great artists. And I told Chris, it's like, hey, man, he's on the second Korn album by now. And I'm like, hey, man, Korn's coming through with Gojira and Spirit Box, and I really want to go see him. You think I could get a pass and maybe a hookup? I'd like to meet him. And he goes, I could probably do that. He goes, let me see. So he's real good friends with Ray, their drummer, Ray Loser. He goes, let me see what I can do. He hooks me up. Me and my wife drive to San Antonio back in October, November. We drive to San Antonio. We get there. We get the VIP pass, the friends and family. We get to sit at the front area. There's a guy named that Chris works with at the studio in Bakersfield. His name is Fluff. Great dude. Hooked us up big time. Took us back. We got to go hang out in the back room. It was like the break room. Ray comes in, sits down at the table. Well, I actually, Fluff takes us back, and we go sit at the table, and I'm looking at this table, and I'm like, that's John from Disturbed. And these people sitting at the table, and me and my wife, I was like, let's go sit over here. There's like 5 round tables of just random people. Yeah. I go sit at the table with John from Disturbed. So we're sitting at the table with John from Disturbed, and then I introduce myself, and this other guy happens to be from Dallas. He goes, are you in a band? I was like, yeah, I'm in a band called Lockjaw out of Dallas. And he goes, oh my God, I used to play in the Hellified Funk crew, blah, blah, blah. I heard your band at Trees, We start talking about all the stuff. And then John Moyer's like, something like, didn't y'all open for us or something? I was like, we opened for y'all at Dickies Arena. And my wife brought that up. My wife was like, yeah, we opened for y'all at Dickies Arena, blah, blah. And it was like, so my wife and his wife were talking. It was just like, what the fuck? The fuck? And then Ray Loser walks in, comes right to the table where John is. There's all these other people. Ray walks in. He goes, I'm here supposed to meet somebody. Who is? I was like, oh, that's me. and so I'm sitting at the table with John and fucking Ray, and they're talking about stadium tours. I'm like, what? What? Mind fucking blown. Great guys. Ray closed it down with me. We had a great chat. John Moyer, those are great guys. Disturbed are great dudes. It's crazy, man. It's a small world. It's a small community.
It really is.
It really is.
Yeah.
It really is.
That's awesome, man. I mean, jeez, like your stories are so awesome. Like I think, but like I think that's what like fans don't get to hear a lot, right? Like they'll listen to an interview or two, or they're like, oh, I caught Metallica's, the All Within My Hands thing, and they talk a little bit, but like those stories are like that's really shows like just how close knit this community is.
It is, and we are all in it and everybody that's in it doesn't realize where they're at in it. Like I think I mentioned, we talked a little bit before. We're in the moment right now at this level in the band, and we think, God, I wish one day that I could be playing on this festival, or get this Metallica tour, or get this or get that. And there's just a time for everything. And I think being in that moment is probably the most important thing we can be doing.
Yeah.
We played a show the other night with the kickoff. It was a benefit show for my friend Nathan that has lymphatic cancer. And we got our, like, I don't know if you can see this or not. We got our light rigs. So we've got 6 of these towers that we set up, and we brought all this light production together and programmed all the lights. I spent like 80 hours on it, really programming the lights right to the song and everything. And I was watching the video for this, and I actually just released on YouTube a video of Devil in Disguise at that show. And I was watching our light show, and I was like, oh my goodness, this is amazing. Like, I can't believe this is us. Like, how is this? So, like, I think just it is a big community, and every band is where they should be. Gojira is where they're at because they have put 25 fucking years into this shit.
Exactly.
They deserve what they're at. And Disturbed deserves to be running stadium tour, arena tours. And Lockjaw deserves to be right where we're at right now, because that's the amount of work we put into it. And when we put in more work and all the metal gods align, maybe we'll get something. I don't know.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, hell yeah. I mean, you guys have, man. You put out, you put out Relentless, which is rocks. I know you got some new music coming out next week, right?
Yep.
And
16th.
The 16th, yep. And so, I mean, you guys are doing it. And you just started your Texas tour, the Monster Inside Texas. Talk about that. Like, what can someone who's never been to a Lockjaw show expect?
God, I love that question. You asked me, we talked about that for a second. I've been contemplating it. Look, like, we are a live band, and the only thing that we've changed in the last 5 years is production on how we're going to record the music and how we're going to deliver it to our potential fans and how we're going to gain new fans. We've changed our whole approach. And what I realized is all those years, the thing that we were missing the most was the hits, or not the hits, but the really good produced songs.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we're missing. So now we've become a band that's a live band that's getting the opportunity to play songs that we really, really believe in. So when you see us up there, we're selling it, but we're not putting on an act. We're selling it because we really, really believe in what we're playing. Like, I absolutely love my music. And I mean, I know that sounds crazy. I listen to it. I don't listen to it all the time like a jackass, but I listen to it. Especially like stuff that I'm currently working on. I'm listening to a mix of 1,400 times because I'm psycho anal, like super anal about every little fucking thing. And I'll drive everybody crazy because I'm like, that one cymbal hits a little bomb or whatever.
Yeah. And
I'm psycho like that. I have to be, because Lockjaw is a band of 5 guys, but I'm the record label.
Yep.
I own 620 Records, and 620 Records only exists for one purpose: is to fund Lockjaw. I don't care about anything else, and that allows me and my wife to have separation from the band. The band is, each of us are equal, 20%. The label is me and my wife, and so whatever money we put in, we want to make sure that the band is able to keep growing, so we can eventually recoup, right? Just like any label, but we're not putting the band in some shitty, fucked up label deal where they're taking 80-20 and you're getting a payback of this, and just fuck that. We're not doing that. So going back to the question is, you're hearing 5 guys that absolutely believe in what they're doing, and you're hearing you're going to feel the energy that we're putting out, and the more energy that they give back, the more we're going to have. And so you're also seeing thousands of hours of preparation and rehearsal. Yeah. You're not seeing a band going up there jamming. You're not seeing a band going up there and willy-nilly. We're together 2 to 3 days a week, every week for the last 5 years, no matter what. We're always in this room. Every Wednesday night, We come in here and we run through the whole entire set. We've got an hour and a half of music right now that we could play. We don't play all of it all the time, but we practice it over and over, and we're constantly adding new stuff that we've recorded. We don't even play anything until it's recorded. Like we'll jam on it, but we record it and then we'll play it. So we're very, I mean, I without sounding like a jackass, we're very, very pro in our approach, because I feel like if you want to be pro, you do pro shit.
Yeah.
So that's, we're in this weird position. We're like a local band, but we're also getting out there out of state, we're touring, and we're in this weird lull right now. So we're doing everything we can to break through that ice. And the only way that happens is to put on a badass fucking show, look pro, have a great production, look like a headliner if you want to be a headliner.
Yep.
And it's, I just feel like the fans should expect a shitload of energy,
I mean, you talk about, like, you're doing your gigs, you're doing the tour all across Texas, you're doing all these things. I mean, one thing that as a fan was so awesome to see is you posted a video of your cover of Them Bones on Sirius XM.
Oh yeah.
That was fucking cool, dude. Talk about that. Like, what were you like? Holy shit. Like, what was that about?
Well, I mean, it was a really weird moment, a surreal moment for me, because, like, to get on Sirius XM, I don't know if you know how it works or not, but if you want to get a song on the radio, you have to either have a label that has ends with the major market stations, or you have to pay a radio promoter. And these guys are like a super specific PR person.
Yeah.
PR is kind of dead unless you're a A-list band and you put out a press release. If you put out a press release, I've got PR guys, and it doesn't really go anywhere. It doesn't really do anything for smaller bands. But a radio promoter is very specific. You pay them 10, 15, 20, 30 grand if you really believe in a song, and they go and they don't do payola, but they do favors for the program director, and the program director says, okay, Metallica's coming to town. I need 5 tickets to the show to give away to our audience. So that radio promoter, and that's the favor, and I'll give these guys a spin.
Yeah.
That's how it works. So for us, and we've toyed with that concept like 2 or 3 times. This song that I just sent you guys, the song that's releasing on the 16th, we've been talking heavily about doing that. And my radio promoter, the guy that I use, put Avenged Sevenfold and all those guys on the radio, big bands. And he goes, you need the radio promoters to have heard you a little more. You need your monthly listeners up. You really need, you're going to spend some money before you can really like pull the trigger. So, and I'm just seeing dollar signs, 20, 30 grand. Yeah. I'm like, okay. So when we got, and that was all during the time that this thing with Them Bones was happening. So I got a call from a friend in McAllen, Texas, a band called Overt Enemy. You need to interview them. They're good guys.
Yeah.
He goes, dude, did you hear that you're on Sirius XM? I was like, what? He goes, Scotty Krynock with the Corridor of Covers picked up y'all's cover of Them Bones, and they're featuring it this week. I was like, what are you? I've never even heard of this. I didn't know anything about it.
Yeah.
I was like, what are you talking about? And he goes, no, dude, check it out. So I go and check out the post. He sends me the post, and our cover. So for those that don't know, Scotty Krynock is a DJ, and he goes and he listens. He goes and picks out. So this week is the Alice in Chains covers, and he goes and picks out all these different A-list bands, or all these bands that have covered Alice in Chains, and they have like Mastodon that covered this song, and they have this band that covered this song. And these are A-list, like a bunch of big bands, and we're in there with all those big bands for our cover of Them Bones. And so my wife and my kids and I were in the vehicle driving, and I was like, oh, the show's coming on. And so we pulled over in the parking lot of like Walmart. That's that video you saw of my wife filming me listening to myself on Sirius XM. I was like, holy shit, I couldn't help but get choked up. I mean,
it's huge fucking deal.
Man, love Faith No More. I mean, love Alice in Chains. Love Alice in Chains.
Hell yeah.
It's for us to get covered on that and get that radio exposure. that was a big deal for us. That was just another feather in our hat, I guess. I mean, nothing has come of it, but it was awesome.
Yeah. No, it was really cool. And I mean, we talked about in one of our shows, we talked about like what makes a good cover, and finding a song that I think that a lot of times when people do covers not necessarily in the right way, they try to find a cool song that they've always liked that they want to play, but how you guys approached it, say like, well, these vocals line up with Joe's range, these guitars are we can riff off of this, make it our own. Like that's really cool. And so like, I mean, your cover is badass. It does because because we like to say like it's got to accomplish two things, right? You got to do justice to the song, but then you got to make it your own. And you guys totally accomplished both. I mean, it is awesome.
Oh wow. I was nervous putting that fucker out too because everybody reveres Alice in Chains is like,
oh yeah,
and Jerry and Lane's those harmonies were magic.
Yeah.
And we're tuned down to C, drop C.
Oh damn.
And they were tuned to standard. I think no, they were E flat standard.
Yeah.
E flat standard. I think. And so learning the song and drop tuning. They did drop tuning on that song. No, they were drop tuned on that song. Anyway, whatever. So we were like, I was nervous putting that shit out because it was like, if this sucks, we can't put it out. I told him, I was like, if the vocals aren't out right, we're not putting it out. We nailed the instrument part. We got it with Chris, and he worked it out with us, and we figured out all the little, the second verse where it's a little different, and then the heavy outro. But I told Joe, I was like, if the vocals aren't good, I can't put this out. I'm not going to fight those comments.
Yeah.
Fuck that.
Yeah. No, man.
But it helped. It's been a very good marketing tool too. And every once in a while, I'll run an ad just attracting new people. It's like a good, I feel like Them Bones was a big net we can cast out every once in a while and reel people in with it,
Oh yeah. Hell yeah. Oh yeah. And then he's like, wait, who are these guys? Lockjaw, what the hell? You get some more streams and you get some more listens and there you go.
For sure.
Man. So, a lot of your songs, like I know mentioned I Can't Escape and Live Inside My Head are like, those are in my playlist. Those are full time. Like that's in there, man.
Thank you.
And I love them. Not obviously just musically, it just freaking rocks. That breakdown in I Can't Escape. Oh man, gets me every time. Just that little like second and a half of like silence and then bam. It's just gets me every time. But the themes and the lyrics also. Yeah. They're heavy. Like they have a lot of these themes of, anxiety and depression and things a lot of people go through. And so like, first just want to tell you we appreciate that because, a lot of people dealing with it just don't know how to even like put it to words. I mentioned my own, I was in a bout of burnout and anxiety and depression myself. And so when I heard Living Inside My Head, it was just, wow, that's what I'm feeling. That's what's going on. And so, and then the second verse comes in, talking about like, you're not alone. Everyone's going through it. Like that is such an awesome mess. And I guess the question would be like, how do you guys come up with those themes? You guys come together, talk about, what the song comes about. Is it Joe like comes up with these lyrics? Like, why is it important to talk about?
Joe, without telling, or it's his own private story that he can share if he wants. Joe had it rough growing up, and his parents they weren't there. They passed, and he grew up in a kind of a foster situation. He dealt with some abuse. He dealt with some physical, verbal, mental abuse. He dealt with some shit, and he is a really interesting guy. Actually, he's like he's kind of he found out that he wasn't Hispanic. He's actually half Mexican, I guess, half Native American. Got some different bloodline in him that he didn't even realize from his biological father. He's kind of a hippie. He's one of the earth, man. He's cool as shit. he's very emotional, and not emotional like in a negative way, but he's very in touch. Like he really feels things. He's an empath. He feels everything. And so he writes about what he's experienced and what he knows. He writes about things like coming back. Silence the Fear, for example, was when he was recording vocals one time with Jackknife. He had this idea for melodic, because that's kind of where metalcore was going. And his producer, I won't say his name because the producer's our friend, but his producer was like, "Don't do that. That sucks. Don't do that." And it really crushed Joe's creative spirit. So whenever I had Joe come back in Lockjaw and we were doing Silence the Fear was about him coming back and silencing the voice in his head and saying, "This fire is inside you, and break the chains that bind you," and those things. He was saying, "Look, I've got to really like silence this voice of fear in my head, because fear is what the mind killer, right? It will kill, it will destroy you." So that was the first song. Then we come up to the second song, and there's Joe has told this story 100 times, but I wrote the riff for "Living in My Head," and it's ticka 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 ticka. I had a Whiplash in mind.
There you go.
Joe had something different in mind. So you hear that, and Joe comes in dark times, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, okay, this is not what I expected. And we argued. And I even said, "I don't know if you're the right guy for this band," over that song. Because I didn't know. I was like, wait a minute, this is not exactly what we talked about. We were talking about coming in hard and heavy and then maybe breaking into a chorus here and there. But I need Joe from Jackknife here, the rah, And so we had a little tiff over it. But then I said, "You know what, Jeff? You're smarter than this. Shut the fuck up and let this man have his moment to flesh this out in the studio." We were just doing pre-production. It was just me right here. This is our studio monitor right here where we're sitting. And he was standing right here beside me. And I was like, "Shut the fuck up and just let him flesh his ideas out." I was like, "Shut the fuck up. Get over yourself for a minute. Okay, you wrote the riff. Shut the fuck up."
Yeah.
So he did it. And after he did it, I was like, "That sounds great, Joe. I'm sorry. I should have listened to you." And he's talking about living in my head, living in the constant pain and anxiety and fear and just constantly being in his head and not letting. And so when I started hearing the theme, we had no idea what he was going to do. He was in the band for 6 months before we knew what he was going to do.
Yeah.
We had no idea. And so when he did it, it was like, ah. And to be honest, I don't want to say dollar signs, but I saw a big potential. I saw something. I was like, okay, people listen to music not for a slamming beat or a guitar riff. Some people do. There's that small sect of society that only wants to hear the most brutal shit, like "Slaughter to Prevail" or
Yeah.
"Lorna Shore." That's cool, but that is a very tiny piece of the puzzle.
Yep.
Most people want to hear, even Pantera. Phil had melodic vocals.
Oh yeah.
Metallica, any of these bands. Gojira's doing it now. And I die laughing when somebody comments to say, "This would be a great song if we didn't have the melodic vocals." I'm like, dude, go fucking listen to somebody growl then. Shut the fuck up. Okay.
Exactly.
Off.
Yeah.
So I just can't. This is that much of the society. Everybody else in the world, fucking Napalm Death was not selling out Dallas Cowboy Stadium, but Taylor Swift was. Just saying.
Yeah.
Because people relate to those fucking songs.
Yeah.
People can relate to George Strait. I don't care what. It didn't matter what genre it is. Post Malone, whoever. People, they sell out stadiums because they have a bigger audience that can relate. And Joe, when I heard my brand of metal with Joe's vocals over him, I said, "We got something."
Oh yeah.
And so "I Can't Escape" is about a really fucking shitty relationship that he was involved in that lasts forever and couldn't get out of it and kept going back. And, then there's Sever. I'll show you where to sever. That's something that happened in his family and his life where he said, "Hey, look, you don't have to go through this pain. I can show you where to cut it off and where to sever to end that sorrow and that pain."
Yeah.
You want you want to stop feeling like shit, stop drinking every day. If you want to stop hating your life, stop doing coke every day. If you want to live a good life, stay out of the titty bars all the time. There's whatever. I'm just saying, there's just ideas there.
Yeah.
Release Me. All those songs are about Joe's journey. Relentless. When when I'm gone, written on my stone is I'll be known as relentless, and all those things. So I can't speak for him, and I'd love for you to talk to him sometime. But that's the overview of that. I think about songs in terms of how heavy we can, not heavy, how deep can we make them? How deep of a production can we get? How much can we do that's a little bit different that hasn't been done for us? I don't care what everybody else is doing, but for us, I want to. It's like exploring new territory every time we do something.
Yeah. Yeah.
I want to just try something new.
Yeah.
And I don't care if it's been done or not done. I'm not copying or ripping anybody's riff off. I don't care. I just want it to be for us something exciting and new. So that's the overall thing with Joe and how we're doing this. You know.
Well, and you talked about it before too, about like connecting with your audience, right? Making those connections. Like, like, why is that important? Like, what's going on in your head for that?
I got a gift, and my gift was Joe, and I'm dead serious. So like, I know this sounds crazy, and you may like listen to my stories and hear like, man, this guy's really got his shit together, but it wasn't. I can't take credit for all. It was just how it came together, and how it happened, and the universe and God brought us together. And I mean, I don't mind saying God, and I know that's frowned upon in a lot of parts of society, but God brought us together, and I got a gift with Joe, and Joe is just a special person, and he brings his life experiences and is brave enough to release those. And I think when somebody's brave enough to talk about their experience or give their testimony through art or music or whatever, I think people can connect to that. And I think the audience, the people that are relating to this music are just real people. They're just like human. They're not, I don't know. I don't know how to describe it, but when people are looking at us now, I've noticed they're looking at us a little different. Like, oh, like there's true heart and soul and connection and meaning behind this stuff, rather than us just going up there and blasting their ears off.
Yeah.
And there's something more, and I can't really describe it. But it changed after we put these songs out. I can tell you that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's more emotion behind it. I don't really know how to say it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, totally. So
a lot of dudes are afraid of emotion in metal. That's like, oh, but, hey, it's all right.
Yeah. I mean, you have like, David Draymond from Disturbed talks a lot about these issues. James, he's gone through. James Hetfield's gone through numerous stints in rehab and taking care of himself, and he's very open about his journey. So, a lot of it, I think, does resonate, right, with some people who are saying like, look, James Hetfield, he's metal god, he's also flawed. He's also human, right?
Yep.
And so like, being a metalhead, I think, is kind of like part of being that community too, of just acknowledging other people's humanity while also reminding yourself of your own, almost, right?
%. I mean, I just read Mark Morton's book. Have you read that yet?
Oh, not yet.
Read it's one of the best reads I've had. I just read his book, and he talks about just growing up as overweight kid and what he went through and the shame he felt, and then growing up and becoming kind of introverted and kind of being the bigger kid, and then getting into music, and then because of the insecurities he had, alcohol and drugs, and then the depression, and then just all this shit, and then Lamb of God blew up, and he's on tour with Lamb of God, like nearly dying with Metallica. They're on tour with Metallica, and he's like just nearly dying. He's just so fucked up, and he was having to be just like in such bad shape. Him and Randy Bly both.
Yeah.
And when you hear these stories, it's like, dude, these are just human beings, flesh and bone, and just like we are. And yeah, they're metal gods, but they're still dudes.
Yeah.
And they have emotions and feelings and bleeds like we do.
Exactly.
So,
Yeah, man.
So,
well, I know you got a new single coming out.
Yeah.
I will say, here at RockMental, we are lucky enough to get a copy of it.
Okay,
So
good.
figured. This is, by the way, disclaimer, we have not heard this song. This is
Yeah.
the first time we are listening to it for the first time. So if I start headbanging and throwing shit, like that's my reaction. That's my natural reaction.
That's great.
So here's a small preview of The Monster Inside by Lockjaw, the new single coming out on April 16th.
All right.
Feel the familiar quiver begin to grow inside of me. My throat bleeds from all of the screaming, but you still don't fucking hear me. No one hears me at all
Shit.
until I lose all control.
Holy shit.
Now I'm in a blinding rage. The color red is all that I see. I begged and begged you not to push me. Now face the monster that you have released. Begging, screaming, won't change a thing, it's too late. You should have just let me be. Maybe you're right, maybe you're wrong. I can't get rid of these demons.
Holy shit, dude. Like, holy shit. Like, there's just, wow. Wow. There's just, dude.
The
Made me
guitar,
blood.
Yeah, dude, like, I was about to flip this freaking table over and, like, just,
Fuck it.
like, destroying things here, man. Because, like, wow.
Start
Talk
breaking.
about an intro and then just leading straight into it. And then, man, like, so
Thanks.
much going on. You're skipping time signatures like crazy. Freaking oh man.
Musician.
Yes, oh my goodness. I went to audio engineering class and like I was trying to get all the layers of what was happening and I was like, "Oh my gosh, what the heck?"
Yeah. You know, we pulled that off live for a couple shows now. And,
Holy.
little leads.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're double harmony in that. Like
Hey.
we're both. It's pretty cool.
That's
Yeah,
insane.
that song was totally out of the blue. That was not part of the 2023 October 23 sessions with Chris. We had 10 songs out of that. This song I just pulled out of my ass one day. I was in the shower, washing, and I was like, dan. I was hearing that. I was like, huh. And then I came out here and just picked at it for a minute, and then I was like, and I was like, okay, all right. And then I wrote the intro, verse, chorus, and the chorus was a little bit different. I sent it over to my friend Chris Mora, who is Upon a Burning Bodies producer.
Yeah.
And he also is the producer for Kim Dracula. And I let him have it, and he fucked around with it and sent it back to me. And he goes, "What do you think about this?" It's like, oh. So then I sent that. I played on it for a little more, and then I sent it over to my guy, Chris Collier. I was like, "What do you think?" And he goes, "Oh, I like this." And he goes, "Let me fuck with it." And so he fucked with it and sent that mix back. And then we sat on that fucker for 8 months.
Wow.
And Joe goes, "I got something for that song. I've got something for that." And I was like, "Okay." And the monster inside, it's about. Well, this is something I wrote for it. Okay, it's a new metal anthem for the broken, and that song is about getting pushed over the fucking edge. This is part 2 to "I Can't Escape."
Okay.
Same
Yeah.
situation, circumstances. It's more, it's an anthem for people that have been pushed over the edge, beaten, broken, pushed around until they finally just can't deal with it and they just explode, and the monster inside, that red film, comes out of them. And I'm not saying that's a good thing. I'm just saying it's a thing.
Yeah.
The video we're shooting right now is pretty cool. Very excited about it. Anyway, so thank you.
No, man. I mean, it freaking rocks, and hell yeah, like just for the first couple of verses, like you can really tell that emotion that thing is, because yeah, we've been there. We're just like up to here, ready to get out, and like you said, sometimes it's not all bad. Sometimes you know, what comes out of it is starting a new band, starting a podcast, you know, something, you know, something that could possibly change people's lives. So Monster could be whatever you want, right?
Yeah, totally, absolutely. And you know, it's not really our heaviest song, but I think it hits it. You know, in its own way, it's got a groove and it hits. Um, there's some songs on the upcoming that are really fast and heavy. There's some thrash songs that would belong on Hardwired. There's
Dang.
songs that belong on a Gojira album. There's songs that would belong on a Parkway Drive album. You know,
Dang.
so mixture of stuff.
It's pretty fucking heavy. So I mean, got heavier stuff. Wow.
I think
Okay.
maybe vocals that take it away from like being super super heavy. You know?
Yeah.
But
It's still awesome, dude. I mean, holy crap. Thanks for giving us that opportunity to have a little sneak peek and share that with our listeners. And I guess, you know, you, like we mentioned, you're on your Monster Inside Texas tour. You're going to be hitting up some all around the Lone Star State. Talk about that. Talk about what's going on and where people can find information on where to find your shows.
well, the simplest thing is lockjawlive.com. Lockjaw Live has got everything, and there's a tour button. You can just see all the tour dates, and there's a ticket link to every tour date. The Monster Inside Texas, man, you know. So for the Relentless tour, we had a booking agent that was helping us, and he booked us a lot in the Gulf Coast. He had a lot of connections through Nashville, Kentucky, Atlanta, Mississippi, Louisiana, all through the Gulf Coast and Southern Gulf. So we went through there for the Relentless tour, and it was good. And we toured for 2 weeks basically straight. So we went every day except for like Mondays. And some of the days were really cool, and we made money, and we were able to, and some of the days just weren't great. And so we figured out for our size of a band, and that same summer, we played Rockfest in the biggest stage right before Killswitch Engage, and
Oh yeah.
Gojira, and not Gojira, Seven Dust, and Upon a Burning Body, and Jared Leto. We had a very mixed year last year,
Yeah.
but what we realized is we've never done a true proper all the way through Texas. This is our spring. We're dedicated to Texas. We're going to do a spring series. We're calling it the Monster Inside Texas tour, but we're just doing things our own way. I brought up earlier that I was friends with the guy Cody Jinks, right? Cody sells, like, you know, he's playing massive venues. He's playing arenas and pavilions. Okay. It's 5 to 10,000 seat capacity. Cody goes out on a Thursday, plays Friday and Saturday, and sometimes Sunday, and then comes home for the week.
Wow.
And he's got 3 buses and an 18-wheeler and a huge production, and that's how he does it for his family. And I'm like, I'm not on a label that's telling me what to do. Where are the rules that say that I have to do it a certain way?
Yeah.
And I posted this tour, and I said the Monster Inside Texas tour, and I got some comments like, "This looks like more of a tour, like a jaunt. This is just a weekend warrior thing." I'm like, who? Again, some dude sitting in his underwear in his mom's basement,
right?
Like, shut the fuck up! You're not smart enough to argue with me. Like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, right.
So we put a string of dates together where it's a tour, it's a concert series, it's whatever the fuck you want to call it. It's a fucking jack off session. I don't care what you call it, but it's fucking rad. And we're covering. We've never covered all of Texas, so it's Fort Worth, San Antonio, McAllen. We've never been to McAllen. We've never played Tyler.
Yeah.
Dallas, world famous Trees. That's the shit. That's the badass venue, and I mean, I love that place.
Yep.
Lubbock at Jake's, Abilene at the Zone, and our friends in Negative 263 from Abilene are playing with us. They used to be a Jägermeister band.
Oh, there you go.
They were big. They were a good band.
Yeah.
El Paso, the Rock House. We're gonna be seeing you guys. It's gonna be rad. Houston at the end. That's the scene place. It's a cool spot.
Yep.
Corpus Christi at the House of Rock. House of Rock in Corpus is one of the best venues I've ever been to.
Nice.
The owner, Casey, and his whole team are absolutely amazing. I'm plugging them right now because they're awesome.
There you go.
They put us on with Upon a Burning Body. They put us on with Max Cavalera's band. They're great people there, man. Love them. And then my friend Anthony with Come and Take It Live in Austin, Come and Take It Productions, set the whole thing up. He helped me set up this whole tour. He made all the connections, set up all the spots. Anthony, we're ending the Texas portion of the tour Memorial Day weekend. May 25th in Austin at Come and Take It Live, and we're super stoked. I also must mention that on about half the dates, we're taking out our friends in Overt Enemy.
Oh, nice.
And these guys are from McAllen, and out of all the bands in Texas, Overt Enemy is doing the right. I'm not knocking any of the other bands, but doing the right stuff. They're marketing themselves heavily. They are really doing the right stuff. They started as a Slayer cover band.
Oh, wow.
Then they went into more of a thrash metal vibe, and I love their band. They're a really cool band. You should have them on the show. They're great people.
Oh, yeah.
They're coming out with this on about half the dates. The reason I didn't bring a band for the whole thing was because we found that when we went out on the Relentless tour last year, we took a friend from Dallas, Dispositions, another great band, really good friends with them. In fact, Ethan is one of the owners of the Rail Club in Fort Worth.
Oh, okay.
Amazing. We realized going out that at the size we are and the size Dispositions is, they're both were equally good bands and doing the right stuff. It didn't really make a whole lot of sense for us to go out together because neither one of us had a big draw in either one of those places, and it was kind of like hurting each other in a sense. It was fun,
Yeah, I get you.
but from a financial standpoint, we said we're going to split everything. It didn't make a whole lot of sense because if we had have gone out on our own and had local openers, we would have probably done a little better from the financial standpoint, and Dispositions could have gone and done the same thing if they wanted. But it was a bro thing too. It's kind of like going out with homies, and we love those dudes. But from a business standpoint, it made more sense. So that's why I was like, Overt Enemy, I was like, hey, why don't we do McAllen together? And we're actually going to open for Overt Enemy in their hometown. We're gonna be main support for them.
Oh, that's awesome.
We're at the Cine El Rey. It's a badass old theater, and we're going to play. We have, it doesn't matter. We're going to go up there and play and let them headline. We're going to do San Antonio with them. We're going to do Corpus with them. We're going to do Corpus, Austin. So some of the dates in South Texas and South what we're doing them. That's how we're doing it. So, but honestly, they're promoting so hard. I've kind of wished we would have done it the whole thing with them.
Right.
So anyway, that's the date. Texas is going to get the proper finally get the proper attention. I don't know why we thought we needed to go out of Texas is so fucking big. It's crazy.
Yeah, exactly.
It's massive.
Cool. Well, Jeff,
What else?
thanks so much, but cannot be a metal fan without, I'm not going to let you leave without your top 5 bands, man.
Okay.
Top 5 bands.
Okay. Well, number 1 is easy. Metallica is out of there's you got the big 4, right? And that's always questionable about the big 4, but Metallica, Slayer, Megadeth, and Anthrax, right?
Yep.
Would you consider 4?
Those are the big 4, yeah.
Okay. I was always a big Metallica fan, and if it was between Metallica and Slayer, the big 2, I'm always going to go Metallica. James's vocals, the riffs, love them. Between the Metallica Megadeth feud, it was always going to be Metallica too. Because I'm sorry, Dave kills on the guitar, but he did not have those vocals. He was cool. He was cool, and I love all those albums.
Yep.
Metallica had the vocals.
Yep.
And
I feel you in that one, yeah.
so technically Megadeth was probably better, and maybe their drummer was better, and everybody can bitch about Lars, but I don't give a fuck. Metallica. I'm going. Okay. So Metallica for sure. I would definitely say if it were on the long time, like all time, I would say that Alice in Chains is in there.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, now, not exactly metal,
They're
but
metal adjacent.
they're heavy.
Yeah.
They're metal, alternative metal, grunge metal. I would say that Korn would be in there for me.
Oh, hell yeah, Korn.
I love Korn. I really do. I would definitely say Slipknot would be in there for me.
Oh, hell yeah.
This is a hard one because right now, Gojira's 1 or 2 for me, but they're not in the all-time. I think Seven Dust is. I think Seven
Oh,
Dust is
hell
there.
yeah.
For me.
Dang.
Yeah, Seven Dust. Seven Dust is there for me. And if you're asking me my top 5 in the last 5 years, it's Gojira, it's Spirit Box, it's Slaughtered Prevail, it's Architects, it's Upon a Burning Body. I love them. Love Upon a Burning Body. Yeah. So yeah,
Oh yeah.
Nice.
that's
Seven,
yeah.
Seven Dust's badass. Really quick tangent. I told you I was like a filler guy for all these bands. Well,
Yeah.
one time my friend Marty got a gig somewhere. He says, "Oh, we need a singer, and we need you to cover Waffle."
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, "Okay, I've never
That's
sang
just
Seven Dust before." Okay,
Yeah,
it just
that's a challenge.
it just happened.
Yeah.
And but yeah, no, ever since then, like Waffle's on my list too. It's like, I mean,
Oh, dude, they're fantastic. They put on an amazing live show.
Hell yeah.
They're another top band. I feel kind of silly not bringing it up, but like Pantera.
oh, Pantera, fuck yeah.
So Pantera would be right up there with them, all of them. Pantera, I grew up in the Dallas scene, and so I ran into Dime and Vinny all the time.
Oh wow, yeah.
I've met Dime multiple times, more than I can count. A lot of my very close friends, Slam and Jay with KNON Radio, Thrash and Allen, Warren. A lot of my friends were very close with Dime. In the last few years, I've become really cool with, in the probably last 8 years, I've become really good friends with Sterling Winfield, their producer.
Oh,
You've
yeah.
seen Sterling in all their videos, In fact, when Chris Collier came here, Sterling and him were professional, they're colleagues or whatever, they professional. And I brought Sterling over, and me and my wife were grilling out, and I'm like, I got Pantera and Korn's producer on our patio. I'm like, and I heard, and Sterling is fantastic. He's a big supporter of Lockjaw. In fact, we were going to work with Sterling before Chris, but he goes, I think you need a producer. He goes, I don't think I can make y'all sound any better. I think y'all are getting what you can get. And he goes, I think you need somebody to work with you and help you hone your sound. He goes, I could engineer you and make you sound great. He goes, and yeah, I could do some production, but he goes, I think you need a producer. And so he really passed the baton to Chris, to be honest.
Awesome. So Jeff, hey, thank you so much for joining us on Beyond the Pit. We're definitely going to see you guys out when you make it out here to El Paso. So
thank you.
We'll hit you up and just keep rocking on, man. We can't wait to get your release. Can't wait to get more of your stuff, man. Rock on.
Oh yeah.
Man.
Thank you.
Now we have links to Lockjaw's website and Spotify pages on rockmental.com. Please go give them a follow, show them some love, and that's the only way you'll get notified when The Monster Inside drops on April 16th.
Like we mentioned before, you can find all this and all of our Beyond the Pit interviews on the official RockMental YouTube channel and on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Amazon Music. Chaotic?
All right, thanks for joining us for Beyond the Pit. Join us next time as we talk to a band that we're really excited about. You guys are going to love it. We'll give you a heads up on social media, but only if you follow us at RockMental Official on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Make sure you hit the subscribe button and get notified when the next one drops. All right, Chaotic out.